Welcome back to Truck and Talk. I'm Stephanie Valle, and today we're focusing on what happens when the rest of the office goes home because in trucking, the job doesn't stop. We're joined by Raquel Noriega, the ECT Supervisor here at MVT. Raquel leads the extended coverage team, supporting drivers after hours when the unexpected could happen. Schedules change, and drivers need someone on the other end to help them keep moving. Raquel, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Stephanie.
So, before we jump into our conversation, let's get into our segment that we like to call Fuel for Thought. So, first, in trucking, things don't pause at the end of the day. Drivers are still on the road, loads are still moving, and problems don't wait for the next shift. So, from your perspective, what changes when operations move into those overnight hours?
We end up helping the drivers that are still out on the roads. We help them with fuel solutions, incidents, if there's any. If drivers get lost, we help direct them to where they need to be. And just taking care of the driver and the customer, making sure loads are still on time.
And you gave us a few examples of what you do, but what oftentimes do drivers need at those times overnight?
Well, pickup numbers, delivery numbers, fuel, and sometimes they just call in to talk.
We hear that a lot. They just want someone to talk to. And that is
Sometimes.
it's actually really good because, that way they're staying awake. They're being active, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, Raquel, let's get into our interview now. So, how did you get into the trucking industry?
Well, 12 years ago, I was looking for a job and I applied and didn't realize that I had already changed my phone number. So HR actually emailed me, had an interview, and a week later I had a job and I hired in as a dispatcher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as a dispatcher on the night shift, 4 on, 4 off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what led you to this role working overnight with the extended coverage team?
Okay, so what happened was I was a dispatcher, and then 2 years later, the weekend supervisor, he was leaving the company, and he told Bumper Jones that I was a loyal person. And so I had just had a minor surgery, bad hair day, and one of the divisional operations managers was like, "Come on with me." And they never told me it was an interview for the ECT night shift supervisor. And so I answered everybody's questions, and Bumper said, "Okay, next week you start as a supervisor."
Wow.
Okay. And then a couple years more down the line, I ended up getting the ECT weekend supervisor position. And that was so much more than I ever imagined that it was. That was a shock to the system.
And in what way do you mean?
The night shift, we might have, like when we would come in at 7 p.m., the phones are blowing up, like, the drivers know when we change shifts. Oh, night shift's coming in, I got to talk to them. So they'll wait to call. And then, so up until about 9 o'clock, the phones are just going crazy. After that, it evens out. Got a chill night. Something's running late. Oh my God, we need a repower. So everybody jumps in, gets it done, save that load. You go on, and the night's pretty cool. Then at the end of the shift, it pipes up because all the early birds are up and rolling at 4 a.m.
Wow. So, pretty active shift from what you were
It's-
expecting?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that was the night shift. The weekend shift is a lot more, everybody's awake during the day. So it's a little harder. You have 40 fleets and I've got 15 dispatchers. So it's a little rough,
Yeah.
but it's exciting.
So, looking back, did you ever expect to be in a position like this?
No. I was so glad to be out of a managerial role from Michigan that I was like, I just want to dispatch. Just I used to not have 11 marks here, and they've come back. So, but it's stressful, it's fun, it's challenging, it's never the same way 2 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
And I'm glad you mentioned that you came from Michigan because you mentioned that you came here, you had changed your number, so I'm assuming you changed your number from Michigan. So you changed your number, but you couldn't get away from being a supervisor or in a supervisory
Yeah,
role.
apparently. Because I was like, I just need a job, I just need to chill, and yeah,
Yeah.
it found me.
So what has this role taught you about yourself then?
I'm a lot stronger than what I thought I was.
Can you give us an example?
Um, Dealing with people's personalities, and maybe dealing isn't the word I should use, but taking care of people with some rough personalities in my team, as well as drivers or other management people. So sometimes you have to step back and think about what you're going to say.
So strong in a restrained way, if you will? Like you know when to
Quit. Yes. And you have to be strong mentally. There are so many personalities out there. It is amazing. I thought I had heard all of the excuses. There's so many more.
So let's get into your role. So what does an ECT supervisor do?
Well, I make sure that my team is trained and able to do their job. Um, I also help hire ECT employees, um, make sure that everybody's computer is working. If they have problems, do this. I guide them throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
I teach them to where they know what they're supposed to do. That way, if I'm out or if I have to step out of the office, they know exactly what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
That I can actually leave that office and I know it will run correctly.
Mm-hmm. So how would you explain the extended coverage team to someone who's maybe never heard of it?
I would say we are the after hours people. That's what I would say, which pretty much covers it.
So what does a typical shift look like for you and your team?
There is absolutely nothing typical.
Okay.
It can be perfectly fine for a couple hours, but then other days you come in and you walk into a forest fire and you have to figure out how to fix it.
Okay. So what does to take your terminology, what does a forest fire look like on your shift?
It could be a very high value load that somebody either has an incident or gets into an incident, and let's say the trailer is damaged, something like that. Then there's risk and safety and DOT, and a whole bunch of people are involved in it. And yeah, it gets pretty hairy sometimes. But then there's other times it can be like, okay, it's too calm. What's going on? There's something going on. Is it a holiday? Mexican holiday? What, we go through all of our check boxes going, oh, okay, well, it must be a slow day.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of problem solving. Is
Yes.
that what you would say?
Thinking outside the box.
Okay. So can you maybe give us an idea, like a situation that you've had to deal with after hours?
Girlfriends will call looking for the drivers.
Really? Did you find that would not happen during other shifts?
Probably not.
Okay.
I've never heard of it happening in different shifts, but I don't know that for sure. Yeah, we would get a phone call from safety saying this girlfriend is looking for her boyfriend, and it's like we can't give out any information. So they end up usually hanging out very upset with us because we can't give out that information. It's like we'll send him a message, but no information, sorry.
Interesting that that is one of the examples that you brought up. I was thinking we were going to talk about a work example.
Okay, well, it was work. No.
It's true. It's your work.
A work example. Okay, so the more common one with the problem solving is if a driver is late.
Mm.
If a driver is late, meaning a solo driver, let's say he got behind for whatever reason, we have to repower, which means get another truck, swap loads so they can make on-time delivery.
Mm.
And depending on the time or how much time we have left to get that load delivered, we may be able to do it with another solo, or most of the time we'd have to get a team on it so they can keep rolling and make it on time.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So obviously very important to be on time. And is that what you were alluding to about excuses? People not running on time?
Or even not coming to work.
Mm.
Drivers, sometimes once they get home, you're fighting with their family to get them out of the house. So it can be quite challenging getting them out of the house.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how different is the night operation compared to the daytime operations?
Nighttime is more calm. Um, it's not as excitable as the day shift. The night shift, we have people do a reconciliation of the fleets. So that means you have to go through every truck and put comments. Running on time, this person has this many hours on their 11 hour, this many hours on their 70, good for OTD. You have to make notes that you have actually touched that truck and that you know that everything is good. There should be nothing in the way of this driver making it on time.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you alluded to it earlier about the measures you have to take if someone isn't running on time. Is that just like a standard where you're switching drivers or switching loads if someone's not running on time?
I don't know that it's a standard. I guess I don't think of it as a standard. We have to make that happen. There's no question about it. And if it means we work on it for 15 minutes or we work on it for 2 hours, we have to figure out what we have to do to make that happen. And sometimes we have to do 2 repowers because somebody's not going to make it all the way directly.
Wow.
So sometimes it gets really challenging.
So when something does go wrong, what is your first move?
Safety. Thinking of the safety of the driver, the load, the dispatcher, safety is always at the forefront.
So if safety's at the forefront, how do you make sure that everybody knows that safety is at the forefront? What kind of actions do you have to take to ensure safety's at the forefront?
Well, let's say if they're in an incident, that means we have to do an email to safety and risk on call. Those are the first 2 points of contact. The drivers are not to give us detailed information because that's not our job. That's not our department, I should say. So that's why safety is at the forefront, because they have to be notified of anything that happens with that driver, or if a driver gets hit by the door of the trailer or truck. A lot of drivers, I'm fine, but yeah, I'm gonna wait here for a little bit. It's like, nope, send an email to safety. He needs to figure out what they're doing, and then they determine if he's able to continue driving or if he needs to go to an aftercare or something like that.
Okay. So how do you manage multiple issues that come up at once?
Take the most important one first. I mean, and it could be a juggling thing. I might have to delegate 1, 2, 3, and I take the 4th. So it takes, you just got to juggle. I never actually thought about how I do it.
I guess that's a sign of a good manager, right? Or a good supervisor.
I would hope.
So, what does communication with drivers look like in those moments when those issues come up?
It's very stressful. A lot of times when drivers experience an incident, you really have to listen to what they're saying because things may not sound right. They may be talking too fast. They might not be able to get their words together. So sometimes it's difficult just to try to understand what they're talking about because of their either shock of the situation or the stress of my truck got wrecked or something like that. So it's stressful.
So, how do you make sure that the drivers feel supported in those stressful moments?
Make sure that we follow up with them. After we know that safety and risk are taken care of, usually we would get them a motel, make sure they get a ride over there, follow up with them later on. If it's too late, we would follow up with them in the morning and make sure they're okay.
But how do you stay calm when everything feels very urgent and stressful?
I have to be calm because if I panic, my people panic. And my motto to my people is, you can't panic until I do,
Mm.
and I don't panic.
Yeah.
So you can't panic. There's no option for it.
So, how can you talk about how you manage that? Because I'm thinking about if someone's calling you and they're giving you rapid fire
Mhm.
situations and they sound worried or alarmed. How do you stop that feeling from rising in your chest? How do you control that?
I have to focus on them, on the driver. I have to focus on them because I can't let them know that I've got all this stuff in my head or what's going on over here.
Mhm.
I have to do everything I can to make sure they don't panic. And then if they're doing all this rapid fire questions, I have to let them get that out of their system. And it's like, okay, let's answer one thing at a time. So I try to get them, take a deep breath, that type of thing.
Mhm.
Um, I never say calm down.
Mhm.
That's like telling,
The
oh
worst.
my
I'm
gosh.
glad you said that because I was
Mhm.
thinking probably the last thing you want to say is calm down.
Yep. I never say those words.
Mhm.
Never. Not even to my employees. I don't say that word. That is not good to say to me. So why would I say that to somebody else?
Yeah.
But yeah, I focus on the driver when there's a situation like that, or if any of my employees, if something happens to them in their personal life and they're all worked up, okay, let's go talk. And they just have to find their words so they can get it out.
Mhm.
Most of the time, drivers want to be heard.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the situation is, they want to be heard.
What do you think makes a strong ECT team?
A combination of all types of personalities, good training, dedication, the want to learn and be better, and never miss work. No, but yeah, that's what I believe would be a good team.
So, how do you balance helping drivers while still making sure that deliveries are on time?
Well, I have 15 people. Um, People know what they're supposed to do. We look at the loads that are really critical loads. Um, we prioritize. We go through and check the certain loads, and then we go on and do other things, call drivers, get their pre-plans, and get them committed so that they would go out on their next run. Um, yeah,
Yeah. So you mentioned, the team. What does having a strong team mean to you?
success.
Yeah. How has this role changed the way you see the operation as a whole?
We're just a little part in the whole operation. even though it seems so big when we go into work, yes, we support the drivers. Yes, we try to make sure the loads are on time, but we're just a little part of it. It's a huge operation, and I don't mean to downsize that. W- We're we aren't the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
We're yeah.
One team, part of a team.
Yep.
Yeah. So what keeps you motivated working in this kind of environment?
The unknown. You don't know what you're going to walk into. You're not going to know what you're going to leave behind. You have to do the best you can every single shift and make sure it gets done.
And for drivers who are listening to this podcast right now, what would you want them to know about your team?
Yes, my team, we care. We try to excel at what we do to make sure that the drivers are taken care of.
So that you care about the drivers.
Yes.
Great. All right. Well, Raquel, thank you so much for giving us a look into a part of the operation that doesn't always get seen, but obviously makes a really big difference every day. And it is clear that there is a lot happening behind the scenes to help drivers and to keep drivers feeling supported and deliveries on track, especially during those hours when challenges do not slow down. So, what you and your team are doing really shows how much coordination it takes to keep everything moving no matter the time of day. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Stephanie, for having me.
And I'm Stephanie Valle. And until next time, stay safe, stay sharp, and keep on trucking.